So it is Sunday morning, laundry day. I hate laundry day. Everyone does. But clothes do not wash themselves. So I am a shift lead at a retail store. Have been for about 3 years. Got promoted last year, which felt like finally getting somewhere. $43,000 a year. Sounds decent. In a decent city, it is not indecent. After rent, after utilities, after the car payment, after groceries, I had about $900 left most months, which sounds fine until something breaks. Anyway, Sunday morning, I carry everything down, stuff it all in the machine, press start, walk away feeling very responsible about life. 2 minutes later, it stops. Just stops. Clothes soaking wet inside a machine that has decided Sunday is a great day to quit. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what to do. So I call customer care. They put me on hold for 25 minutes. 25 minutes, I timed it, standing in my kitchen, listening to hold music, thinking, this is my life right now. This is actually my life. They walk me through some troubleshooting, which obviously does not work. So they send someone out. Guy looks at it for about 4 minutes, looks at me, looks back at it, $280. I just went numb. Not angry, not panicked, just numb. Because I already knew before he said the number. I knew I could not afford it. I just did not know what the number was yet. I had $340 in my account. Rent was due in 10 days. So I did the completely rational thing. I delayed it, carried my clothes to the laundromat every single day, $8 each time, then missed a bill payment because my brain was completely elsewhere, $35 late fee. Then eventually put the $280 on a credit card at 24% interest because I had convinced myself that was somehow the smart move. It was not the smart move. By the time I finished solving a $280 problem, I had spent somewhere around $400 in cash and put $280 on a card that would cost me another $67 in interest before I cleared it. $280 became $700 because I had nothing saved. No buffer, no cushion, nothing between me and the next thing that broke. And here's the part that really got me. Federal Reserve data from 2024 shows 37% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency with cash. 1 in 3 people doing exactly what I did. Not because they are irresponsible, because when there is nothing there, panic makes the decisions. And panic is a terrible financial advisor. I went down a Reddit rabbit hole that night, and I found one comment that completely reframed everything. Someone had written, "An emergency fund is not savings. It is the thing that stops you making terrible decisions when something breaks." Oh, I had always thought emergency funds were for people who already had money left over. Turns out they are for exactly the person I was. So I built one. 60 days, starting from $340 and a bad attitude. This is what I did. The first thing I did was nothing, which sounds like a bad start. It was a bad start. I just sat there that night, staring at my phone, thinking, how did $280 turn into this? Like, I am not an idiot. I know basic maths. So why did I spend more avoiding the problem than the problem actually cost? So I went looking for an answer. Reddit, mostly. And I found this Harvard and Princeton study from 2013 that kind of broke my brain a little. They found that financial stress consumes the equivalent of 13 IQ points. Not because people struggling with money are less intelligent, because the mental load of managing a tight budget uses up the exact processing power you need for planning ahead. Which means stressed Marcus, standing in his kitchen with $340 and rent coming, was literally running on reduced capacity. Could not see past the next 48 hours. Could not do the obvious maths. Not lazy, just overloaded. That one thing made me feel less stupid about the laundromat situation. But here is the mini realization that actually changed what I did next. I was not saving because saving felt pointless when the number felt impossible. 3 months of expenses, 6 months. Every article saying the same thing. I would read it and just close the tab. Because when you have $340 and rent is in 10 days, 3 months of expenses is not a goal. It is a joke. So I found a different number, $600. Not 3 months, not 6 months, just $600. Federal Reserve data shows the most common emergencies that send people into financial spiral are between $200 and $500. A tire, a dental visit, a plumbing call. $600 covers most of those. And more importantly, it gives your brain just enough room to think clearly instead of panic. $600 in 60 days is $10 a day, which sounds easy until you are looking at $23 until Friday. So I needed a system, not motivation, not discipline. A system that found $10 a day without me having to fight myself every morning. And I found one. Well, I built one, mostly by failing at the obvious things first. Okay, so the system. And I want to be clear. I tried the obvious thing first. I just told myself to save more. Very sophisticated strategy, did not work. Shocking. The problem was not the intention. The problem was the money was sitting right there in my main account. Visible, available, and every time I had a slightly bad day at the store, gone. So the first thing I actually did that worked. Separate account. Not a new bank, not a complicated investment account, just a second account at the same bank. Took 8 minutes online. I named it Do Not Touch. Hid it from the main screen so I could not see the balance every time I opened the app. Out of sight genuinely means out of mind. Research shows people with separate savings accounts save 43% more than people keeping everything together. Same income, same expenses, just friction. The extra 2 taps to transfer out is worth hundreds of dollars over time. Then I set up an automatic transfer. $7 a day, triggered the morning after payday, before my brain registered the money as available. $7 a day felt almost insultingly small, honestly, like putting out a house fire with a water pistol. But by day 30, $210 was sitting in that account, money I had mentally filed under not mine. And that reframe alone, not mine until emergency, was the most useful shift in the entire 60 days. Not the cutting, not the extra income, just the money belonging somewhere else in my head. Then, week 1, I needed to find the first $100. Not because $100 changes your life, because your brain needs early proof this is actually working, or it gives up by day 12. Went through my bank statements, found a gym membership I had not used since last year. Canceled. $45 gone. Found a streaming service I had completely forgotten I was paying for. Canceled. $14 gone. Also found a meditation app. $9.99 a month. While being extremely financially stressed. The irony was not subtle. Then the 48-hour rule. Every non-essential purchase, wait 48 hours before buying. Not forever, just 60 days. Most impulse purchases do not survive 48 hours inside your brain. They just quietly stop feeling necessary. That rule alone saved me around $60 in the first 2 weeks from purchases I genuinely cannot remember now, which tells you everything about how necessary they were. Then I sold one thing. Old headphones, sitting in a drawer for 8 months. Listed Sunday, gone Tuesday. $55 straight into the fund. End of week 1, $180 saved. First time in my adult life, I had money sitting somewhere I was not planning to spend it. That feeling was new. Uncomfortable new. Like finding a room in your house you did not know existed. But it was working, and that was enough to keep going. Week 2 is where most people quit. The easy cuts are gone, the subscriptions are canceled, the auto transfer is running, and you are sitting there thinking, okay, what now? Because $180 is not $600, and the gap between them is not going to close itself. Cutting alone will not get you there. I learned this the hard way. So I did something I had been avoiding. I actually looked at where my money was going. Not vaguely, actually. 14 days of spending, every transaction, labeled. Must, rent, food, utilities, transport. Maybe, things I enjoyed but could reduce temporarily. What was I thinking? Everything else. The what was I thinking category was significantly larger than I expected. $23 a week in coffee shop charges I had zero memory of making. Zero. Like my hand was just going there autonomously. $31 a week in food delivery on nights I was too tired to cook after a full shift. Which I completely understand. 8 hours on your feet, you do not want to stand at a stove. The app is right there and it takes 30 seconds. But $31 a week is $124 a month. On food I did not plan, from a place I did not choose, because I was too tired to think. That is not a spending problem, that is a planning problem. One rule fixed most of it. Delivery once a week. Planned, Sunday night, my choice. Everything else? 48-hour pause. That alone freed up $52 a month from one rule: not suffering, just intention. Bankrate 2025 data shows the average American spends $314 a month on impulse purchases. Not luxuries, impulse. The difference between planned and unplanned spending on the exact same categories is often $100 to $150 a month. Same person, same income, same taste in food, just planned versus unplanned. The gap between those two versions of yourself is worth more than a raise, honestly. Now the income side. And I want to be real because most advice at this point goes completely off the rails. Start a side hustle, they said. Monetize your passion, they said. I work retail shifts 5 days a week. I do not have a passion that monetizes on a Tuesday evening. I have tired feet and a strong opinion about self-checkout machines. So on my days off, Saturday mornings mostly, I did delivery driving. 3 to 4 hours. $80 to $110 depending on the day. Straight into the fund. No passion required. Not glamorous, not scalable. Fast, which is exactly what 60 days requires. I also called my phone provider, asked if there was a cheaper plan available. Turns out there was. Saved $18 a month. One phone call, 10 minutes. $36 over 60 days just sitting there. Consumer Reports found 78% of people who called to negotiate a bill got some reduction. Most people would rather complain about the bill for 6 months than make one phone call. I was most people, until I was not. By day 30, I had $340 saved, which felt like nothing, and also felt like the most money I had ever successfully kept in one place at the same time. Both things were completely true simultaneously. And then something shifted that I was not expecting. I stopped opening my bank app with dread every morning, not because the main account was suddenly full, because knowing something was sitting somewhere safe, even just $340, changed the low-level background noise of every single day. Same job, same salary, same store, just slightly less afraid of Tuesday. I did not know yet how much I needed that until Tuesday actually arrived. Day 60, $620 saved. Not life-changing, not 3 months of expenses, not the number every finance article tells you to aim for before you even start. Just $620 in a separate account that I had not touched for anything that was not an actual emergency. And then 2 weeks later, my boiler stopped working. $390 repair. I paid it. Same day. Cash. No credit card, no laundromat situation, no cascade of bad decisions made under pressure at midnight. And I noticed something sitting there after the repair guy left. The repair was annoying. It was not a crisis. Those are completely different experiences. And the only difference between them was $620 sitting in an account I had built $7 at a time over 60 days. Federal Reserve data shows people with even a small emergency fund report 40% lower financial stress than people with none. Not because they are richer, because the buffer removes the panic response. And without panic, you make better decisions. And better decisions over time compound into a completely different life. So the $620 was not really $620. It was clear thinking under pressure, which is worth considerably more than $620. I went into work that Monday. Same store, same shift lead badge, same $43,000 salary. Nothing about the job had changed, not a single thing. But I walked in differently. Not because I had figured out money, just because I had one small thing that meant the next random Tuesday could not completely unravel me. Which, after years of random Tuesdays unraveling me, felt enormous. And here is the honest part, because I do not want this to sound like a clean ending. I still do not have 6 months saved. I have about 3. Took 2 years of slow building after that first 60 days. But the 60 days was where it started. $7 a day auto transfer, 2 canceled subscriptions, 48-hour rule, 2 Saturday mornings doing delivery, 1 phone call to my provider. Not a side hustle empire, not a complete financial transformation, just enough structure that my panic brain had somewhere to go other than the credit card. And here is what I want you to take from this. 37% of Americans right now cannot cover a $400 emergency with cash. 1 in 3 people, 1 washing machine, 1 tire, 1 random Tuesday away from the exact spiral I described in the first minute of this video. The starting point is not 3 months of expenses. It is $600 in 60 days. 1 separate account opened today. One automatic transfer set for the day after payday. One deliberate move per week. That is the whole system. Because the goal is not to be rich. The goal is to stop turning $280 problems into $700 problems. One small buffer between you and panic. That is it. That is all it is. I am Marcus Webb. Follow for the real math.